It was our first game back as the PWR after Six Nations. So obviously I was part of the Cup squad while the girls were away for Six Nations, and actually was feeling really, really good with how I'd performed, how my body was feeling. I think if I take it back even further, like last season I sort of had a real hard think about what I wanted to do with rugby and what I wanted to get out of it, and I made the commitment that I would continue working part-time so that I could be at all the daytime sessions and actually put everything I possibly could into that season. And then I was probably at the point in the season where I was feeling really, really good, really happy with how I was playing, absolutely loving rugby, probably more than ever, which is Murphy's Law, isn't it? And then anyway, we were playing Ealing at home, Kings On. I'd come off the bench, been on the field I think maybe 30 seconds, and then there was a bit of a loose ball which I sort of came through the line to try and tackle the girl who was trying to pick that up, and then it just went, and I remember banging the ground being like, oh, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. Luckily, the first person by my side was Rachel Lund, who is obviously a physio, extremely calm. She's like, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. And then, you just know in that moment though that it's not going to be good. It's like your rugby life at that time, it flashes before your eyes because you know in that moment this is going to be a year or so. And I think from where I was, from a wider circumstance, knowing that, or not knowing how much rugby I've got left, and the fact that was going to be a big chunk out instantly, my heart just sank. I just was pretty inconsolable for a little while, because as much as you hope that it's not going to be as bad as what it could be, when it happens you do just know deep down that it's not going to be good news. So yeah, devastated.
And what's the sort of the next few days, the next couple of weeks, diagnosis, scan wise for that? Obviously people see it happen and get the update, but they might not necessarily know. There's probably a little bit of time, obviously it's a bad one, but there is also that time in limbo, I guess, where you're not sure on your time, and that's probably the most confusing, worrying part, is you have no sort of idea on your time scale for it.
Yeah, 100%. So basically we got assessed on the day. Amazing medical team, they did their checks, and I think they had a gut instinct, because once you do your ACL, getting a little bit more technical, there's a couple of minutes before everything kind of seizes up where you can do a test to know whether there's a lot of laxity in there or not. So I think from doing that, they had a pretty fair idea of what had happened. But obviously that was the weekend, had to wait until the Monday or the Tuesday, I think, to get in for a scan. And then that will happen, and then obviously you've got to wait for the surgeon to review the results. Fortunately, and this is another a really cool thing to have come from this whole experience, we've got been dealing with Andy Pearce, the surgeon from Worcester, and he's a big Gloucester rugby fan. He'd looked after Kels the week before, bittersweetly, and we were just in amazing hands with him. He got me in pretty much as soon as possible. Kirsten, our Gloucester physio, came to the appointment, Tat came to the appointment, and he basically started by telling me about his time in New Zealand, and it was just complete icebreaker. And then at that point I was thinking, oh, maybe it is good news, because he was in a really good mood. And then he sort of said, yeah, and the ACL reconstruction, which is what you'll be needing, and you sort of knew, but always just had that little glimmer of hope that maybe it would just be MCL or something like that. But I was in very good hands medically, which is really fortunate. I think anyone that's been through long-term injury, it is a roller coaster. Some days you feel amazing because of those little wins. Other days, no matter what happens, you just don't feel it. You feel pretty. Yeah, there's some dark days. From my personal perspective, I got extremely lucky in some ways the worst way, some ways the best way, that I had Kelsey and Sam. So Kelsey got injured the week before me. Sam unfortunately was in the final a couple of weeks later. So all a very similar injury, same operation, same sort of rehab protocol and stuff. So fortunately, no matter what we were going through, we always had someone either side of us that knew exactly or could understand and empathise with how we were feeling. And we didn't have to look far for that. They were literally there. We were by each other's sides for, the big majority of our rehab. So that was definitely a huge saving grace, I think, for the three of us. And the friendship that we've formed from that experience has actually been a really beautiful thing to have come from such a hard thing. On the other side of it, I got lucky as well, because obviously Tat, my partner, she's been through it a lot. She's had a really difficult time in terms of her injury, so she understands it probably better than anyone. So whether I was at Gloucester at training or at home, I always had people around me who could pull me through because they knew exactly what I was going through. So that is just that saved me literally, because you do get to some dark places. So I think having a support system around you is incredible, and it can be the difference. And then I guess in terms of like our milestones and stuff, we had people to celebrate that together, and we're always trying to hype each other in the gym, you know, trying to lift heavier, at the beginning you couldn't even like walk to like load the weights up on the bar, so even just having someone there on the other side of it so that you didn't have to hobble over in your brace with your crutches and then load up the other side, like little things like that just made the world of difference. And then obviously we had a really cool, supportive medical team around us, which they wanted nothing but the best for us. It was challenging for them because all of a sudden they went from having no sort of long-termers with ACLs to 3 in a row, which is a massive additional load for them to happen all of a sudden. So big credit to them. I don't think it was easy from their perspectives either. But just having that support was a difference in terms of getting us all through it.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that support network. Everybody knows how close the Gloucester Hartpury team are, and that's not the team as well, that's obviously the staff as well, like you say, the medical staff, the coaches, S&C, everyone, and that bond, there's been plenty of good times for Gloucester Hartpury over the last three and a bit seasons, but those bonds are almost made stronger in those dark times, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think we are a team that, like, again, it's probably been a bit of an eye-opener to me in terms of like from a teammate perspective, because the way that people sort of responded to us, I sort of reflected upon how I responded to people with long-term injuries before that, and then so I've got a whole new understanding about what it means to try and keep them feeling included and keeping like them feeling part of the team, because you get to a point where 100 times a day someone's saying, oh, how's your knee? And they have the best of intentions, and that's incredible, but it's actually, okay, if I was to be in the position where I'm approaching someone with a long-term injury in the future, that might not necessarily be what they need to hear. So there was so much learning going on from our perspective. Obviously we went from like training, having the exact same program as the girls, to literally being on a completely different gym schedule and things like that. So we would walk out of the gym as they were walking in. So little moments like that, I think that was probably what I found the hardest. But every single time I'd have someone like Maud come up to me, put her arm around me, like things like that. And the little differences that made was honestly huge. Like, we're so lucky in the sense that Gloucester, I think, really recognises the value of the wider squad, whether you're injured, whether you're not selected. There's still so much meaning behind us as a group as a whole, and we really felt that love, and I think we were fortunate enough to still get so much value from being the best supporters we could, because we knew that our season was effectively over, so it was kind of trying to find, okay, how can we still be a part of this without actually being in the centre of it all. So that was a great learning.
Yeah, talk to me about how Linny and Murph and the girls sort of kept you involved. I guess just like little things, as you say, that go a long way.
Yeah, so we actually we were fortunate enough to sometimes get to go into the changing room before the matches, but we were there before the semi and the final both years, because we actually ended up missing 2 finals just with the way that the season was so short. So one injury effectively took us out for those two big moments and all the moments in between. But the girls were amazing. Liddy and Murph, we got the honour of presenting the jerseys for one of the final presentation, which was incredible. We wore shirts to games with the girls' names on it, like ones that they'd played in, to show our support. Just little things like that. We became absolute full-blown shed heads, which was amazing to actually see it, to be in the thick of it over that side of the stadium every week was amazing. And I think we've actually formed a real bond with the Gloucester supporters in that, being over that side. We were very mindful, I guess, of not wanting to detract or bring negative energy to the squad, because there were some dark days and days where maybe it wasn't the best thing for us to be around the girls, because we were sad and upset and just desperate to be back with them and all that kind of emotion. But I think overall it was what's the word? I can't even describe it. I'm thinking back now, some of those days in the gym where I didn't even want someone to look at me because I was so upset. But yeah, we got through it with the amazing people around us. My perspective now, it's actually shifted my mindset in the sense that I'm a bit older. I know my playing days are very, very numbered. I've fully recognised sort of my place within the team in terms of who I'm up against in competition. Amazing people that I've got to compete with for spots. So like game time, things like that is not necessarily the be all and end all for me anymore. It's more about, what can I bring to the team in terms of energy, morale, how can I be the best teammate I can be. So this cup, I guess, process has been really important for me because, and I think that's why I love cup as much as I do, because you've got all these young girls coming in who haven't been in part of the environment before, and it's a real sort of shock to the system for them, and I really enjoy like helping them to kind of, I guess, find their place within the squad and what they can actually bring, and trying to bring out a bit of the potential that perhaps they don't have the confidence themselves or the experience or that to bring out initially. So yeah, I've been chomping at the bit for months now and raring to go. So the fact that we're finally here is amazing. But there's been so many little wins along the way. So I have really tried to like slow down and just enjoy the process, because I don't know how long it's going to go for, Every session now I've kind of think, every time I'm out here and able to participate, like it's a blessing, and I just want to make the absolute most of it and I guess do what I can to make the team as best as they can possibly be, yeah.
Yeah, I guess with that in mind, there's obviously been a few changes over the off-season at GH. Obviously, Liddy's obviously with Wales, and Murph's taken on that head coach role, which I think everybody saw coming. Banner's coming in as well has been massive for the backs in particular. Can you tell us a little bit about Murph and about Banners and sort of what Murph's sort of bringing has always brought and what Banners has sort of brought to the table as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like we're super excited about Murph. Like he's sort of come in right from from the first time he spoke. I just thought, oh yeah, he's got us. He's got such a way with people, Murph, that it's very like impossible not to get on board and not believe in him.
Lizzie, we'll start on there as well, bud.
And that's what you want from a coach. You want to believe what they're saying. You want to be willing to go into battle for them, and trust that he's putting us in the best position to be our best. And I fully believe that he will do that. He's obviously got big shoes, not literally, metaphorically speaking, to fill from old Lenny, but I've no doubt he'll do that justice. And the fact that he's brought the likes of Banners in already shows that he's wanting to I guess develop and broaden our program, broaden our attack ideas and that. And Banners from the get-go, like day one, he was trying to, he learned everyone's names, which might seem obvious, but it hasn't always been with coaches I've experienced in the past, so that went a long way with me. He's so knowledgeable about women's rugby. He watches every game from PWR, Six Nations, World Cup. Like he knows what he's talking about. He's so determined to come in and make a difference and for us to play an exciting brand of rugby. And I have no doubt that the girls will get behind that, and we'll see some pretty cool stuff with him at the fold. We've just got these youngsters rolling through all the time, keeping everyone on their toes. And I think what's really cool is you see their development so quickly. Like obviously the Bucks program is brilliant, but there is still a big step up in terms of Prem rugby. But these girls come in and they're keen, they've got good attitudes, willing to learn, and those are the ones that are good, that they just flourish in our environment. Like your Millie Hyatt, your Steph Elses. Steph she was such a timid player when she first came in, had absolute insane potential, and then her growth, for example, over the last couple of years has been phenomenal. She's now captain of the cup team. Like things like that, the opportunities that these girls are presented with, if they're willing to put the work in, is phenomenal. And yeah, I just think it's the ones that really keep that wide-eyed approach, willing to learn. Those ones, you see them grow so quickly, so that we just want to foster that as best as we can.
And I guess the timing of Gloucester Hartpury's dominance and all these exciting off-field changes and girls coming through and stuff, the timing of that alongside how much the women's game's come on in the last couple of years in particular, a World Cup here in England, sold out attendances left, right and centre. It's exciting to be part of, I imagine. Can be pretty daunting that there's like this massive change, but it's something that yourself and I guess the entire Gloucester Hartpury squad pride themselves on, that inspiration. Yeah,
definitely. And I don't know quite how to sort of sum it up, but there's such an energy around women's sport in general at the moment, women's rugby, especially now with the Lionesses and the Euros, World Cup, home World Cup. It is, you feel it everywhere, and it's such a cool thing to be a part of, and obviously inspiring the youngsters to get involved in stuff, all that comes off it just adds so much meaning behind it. Yeah, and I think Gloucester Heartbreak sort of excel in that department because we've got a real link with the community, and we see those girls, you know, that come to our game, the youngsters. We try to have as much involvement with them as we can, and that obviously just feeds in the pathway, feeds into the Bucks program, feeds into our program. Like, it's incredible. Yeah, we're definitely. I feel like we're kind of a part of a bit of a golden era at the moment. Yeah, and I don't think any of us want to take that for granted for a second.
And I think it'd be remiss if we didn't touch on the World Cup contingent before we finish.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Tat, Maud, everyone, I guess, putting in those massive performances. To see 24 Gloucester Hartbury players on the world stage, live on BBC One, putting in those massive performances and in front of those massive crowds as well is really special to see. And you must be so proud of your friends.
Oh, 100%. Like every game, I'm like, oh, like there's someone in the team that I just feel like you know, that they're like my best mates. It's incredible. And I think from having, you know, lived with them and played alongside, like you see day in, day out how much they work, how hard they work, and what they put into it, what it means to them. So then to see them putting that into the world stage in front of thousands of people, getting like the recognition and the admiration that they deserve is such a cool thing. Makes for pretty busy weekends at the moment, because I'm trying to get amongst and see as many games as I possibly can, just to be there for them. But I love it. I'm so proud of them. A very proud teammate. And yeah, just want to all see them get what they deserve from it, because they all work so hard.
And obviously you don't want them back too early, but I guess you're excited to get back on the field with them when they get back from the World Cup.
100%, yeah. I think that's a bittersweet thing too. Obviously, we want them to go as long as and as strong as they possibly can, but we're also ready for them whenever they're ready to come back. We'll be there for them.
Cheers, Lizzie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.